Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. If you want some NVIDIA stock, the most valuable company in the world by market cap, get yourself down to the first link in the description box, which is that Moo link. The good folks at Moo will give you some NVIDIA stock when you open a new Moo brokerage account and make a certain deposit. All the details are in the link in the description box, first link. So go check it out. Don't delay, act today. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Also, don't forget about my Wealth Builders financial community on Patreon. That's the second link down in the description box. If you want to join our financial community and, rub elbows with other people that are trying to get to financial freedom and passive income, then click on that second link. It'll take you over to Patreon and join the Wealth Builders. And then send me a DM to let me know that you're rocking with me and we can go to work. Well, guys, September historically is probably one of the worst months for the stock market. Today is September 2nd, and it looks like that's going to hold true this year in September as well. If you've been following what's going on with the stock market, it did not do too well today. But before we dive in and I guess give you my perspective, I just want you guys to know I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. If you are someone who is uncomfortable making financial decisions, my recommendation is you go out and get yourself a professional licensed financial advisor to help you make decisions, okay? This is just my opinion. It is not financial advice. Here's what I'm talking about. Dow closes down about 250 points to kick off September on tariff worries, rising bond yields. So you got tariff worries and rising bond yields is the two culprits, according to this CNBC article that I'm reading. So let's dive into it and I'm gonna give you my perspective. U.S. stocks were lower on Tuesday with investors weighing the latest developments on the trade front to kick off a seasonally poor month for equities. Remember what I just told you guys historically. Go out on the internet and do your own research. But historically, the month of September is the worst. And they're backing that up here in this CNBC article. Rising yields also worried investors. The Dow Jones Industrial Average shed 290 points or 0.6%. The S&P 500 dropped 0.8%, while the NASDAQ Composite slid 0.9%. That marks the first back-to-back 1% decline for the tech-heavy index since President Trump announced his sweeping tariff policy on Liberation Day in early April. So why is it not a great opportunity to build wealth? I want you to think about that. Why isn't it? Or is it? You guys drop me some comments and let me know what you think. But Warren Buffett said this: when others are greedy, be fearful. When others are fearful, be greedy. That's coming from Warren Buffett. So y'all know where I stand on that. Investors took profits on bull market winners with the unofficial end of the summer session. NVIDIA shares, for example, were off by 2%, while other big tech names like Amazon and Apple were each down 1%. So we got a rotation out of tech right now. That's not unusual, guys. Remember, I can't say remember, but in my opinion, the tech companies, specifically the Magnificent Seven, they are the drivers right now in the stock market. That's just my opinion. So guess what? When you're at all-time highs, You know what's around the corner. Investors are looking to take some profit, a little bit of froth off the top, right? And that's what you had today. You had investors taking some froth off the top. And of course, they took it from where? Tech, right? So that's why you had Nvidia down 2%. You had Amazon and Apple down 1%. The moves come after a federal appeals court on Friday ruled that most of Trump's global tariffs are illegal. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit determined in a 7-4 ruling that only Congress has the authority to apply sweeping levies. Trump called the decision highly partisan and has said that he will appeal the ruling to the United States Supreme Court. Let's stop right there. Who controls the United States Supreme Court? Donald Trump. So guess what? The tariffs are not going to be, mandated that the U.S. government pay it all back to whoever they got the tariff money from, these companies. It's not going to happen. Trump going to take this thing to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to agree with him. They're going to side with Trump. Why? Because Trump controls the Supreme Court. He controls Congress. And he controls the White House. So he controls all three, guys. So even though these lower courts have deemed it unconstitutional and he doesn't have the right to do it, only Congress can do it. Number one, Trump controls Congress. But more importantly, he controls the Supreme Court. So you know where I'm going with that. The tariffs are going to be here to stay, guys. And matter of fact, even with the ruling from the lower court, they're still giving, the tariffs are not rolled back yet. They're still in effect, I believe, until sometime in October. Because they know this lower court, they already know Trump is going to take this thing to the Supreme Court and he'll win because he controls the Supreme Court, right? Investors were also eyeing a surge in bond yields to start September. The 10-year Treasury yield jumped 4.2%, while the 30-year yield topped 4.97%. You guys already know, anytime the 30-year yield gets above 5%, what does that mean? People who are buying our bonds, foreign countries, billionaires, whoever, anytime you see the 30-year yield go above 5%, that means the United States is having a hard time selling the 30-year bond. They have to add a premium rate to it in order for anybody to buy it, right? And how does the United States survive to pay our bills? Through these treasury bonds. So if your 30-year treasury bond soars above 5%, that spells trouble. There's trouble brewing. Because why does the United States, the most powerful country in the world, the best financial system, the best markets, have to pay a premium for investors to take their 30-year treasury bond? That's what's happening. So it's not a good thing that the 30-year is almost at 5%, guys. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. That means the world does not have a lot of faith in our financial system. And the only way they will invest in America through their bonds is if you pay us a premium. And that's why the thing is skyrocketing, because they can't sell the bonds at the regular rates. They got to add a premium. That's not good news, guys, for our financial markets. And see, investors know that on Wall Street. Investors know that on Wall Street. That's not good news. Hopefully we'll get this thing turned around. Bond investors were Bond investors were driving yields higher on the prospect that the U.S. may have to refund billions bought in from tariffs, worsening the country's already stressed financial situation. See what's going on here? Now, at the end of the day, in my opinion now, no financial advice here, just my opinion. At the end of the day, Trump will not lose when it goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will not make him or the U.S. government give back all that tariff money. That's not going to happen because he controls the Supreme Court, and Trump knows that. So all of this what's happening with the bond market right now is just anticipation and also just propaganda and manipulation, because somebody benefits when this 30-year treasury yield goes above 5%. I guarantee you guys, somebody out there benefits from that. And those are the people that they know good and doggone well the Supreme Court is not going to rule against Trump. Now, that's my opinion. They're not. So the tariffs stay. Ultimately, the tariffs will stay. But anytime investors can use situations like that to manipulate the market, they do. And that's what's happening with your 30-year bond rate right now. It's being manipulated because somebody on the back end in a dark pool somewhere is making money. Trust me on this. Someone's making money off this because them tariffs are going to stay in place. Supreme Court is not going to rule against Trump. Those developments could weigh on sentiment to start a new trading month. September is historically the worst month for equities. What I just tell you, what I told you earlier. Historically, it's the worst month in the stock market, right? With the S&P 500 averaging a 4.2% drop over the last 5 years and falling more than 2% on average over the last 10. The 30-year treasury of 5% is a headwind. What I just tell you guys? A 30-year treasury of 5% is a headwind. No doubt about it. This is coming from the investment strategist at Beard Private Wealth Management. He told this to CNBC. I think it'll continue to be a thorn in the side of equities that are trading at fairly stretched valuations, aka Nvidia, Magnificent Seven, semiconductors, tech. They're typically trading well above normal valuations, guys. And that's what this expert is saying, right? Because anytime you get fear like that around the 30-year treasury going above 5%, the tariff hocus pocus, on day, off today, on today. Anytime you get all that type of confusion, guys, it's a breeding ground for manipulation. And that's what happens. The market starts to be manipulated, right? You see the tech heavyweights, the mega caps, the semiconductors, the hyperscalers all kind of taking a little bit of a ding today because of that, right? Wall Street is coming off a strong month for the stock market. The S&P 500 rose nearly 2%, climbing above 6,500 for the first time. They're talking about in August. The big event traders are waiting for is the release of August's jobs report on Friday and how it will influence the Fed's rate decision coming mid-month. So you got the jobs report coming out this Friday, guys. Big deal. Now, I'm of the belief, I don't know if I can trust the numbers, because remember, Trump fired the person that was in charge of the labor statistics. He fired her in August when he got the July numbers. He didn't like them, he fired her. Now Trump put his own guy in there. So can the numbers really can you really depend on the numbers that come out on Friday? Can we depend on those numbers? I don't know, guys. I mean, come on. I don't know if we can depend on the numbers. You guys drop me some comments and let me know what you think. August saw the S&P 500 add 5 new all-time highs, putting the index year-to-date total at 20. For those years in which the S&P 500 tallied 20 or more new highs through the end of August, the S&P continued to post an average decline in September. There you go, man. That's where we're at, man. The question I got to ask myself is this opportunity knocking? Is this opportunity knocking? And am I willing to open the door? Opportunity is knocking. Am I willing to open the door? I'm going to tell you what Warren Buffett said one more time. When others are greedy, be fearful. When others are fearful, be greedy. In my opinion, real wealth is acquired in the red and collected in the green. That's my opinion now. This is not financial advice. This is not me trying to give you financial advice. If you want to sit on the sideline and sit this one out, that's okay. 90% of Americans do that. 90% of the people in our country sit on the sideline and fight battles that they can't win. They sit on the sideline and get fed propaganda that keeps their filter system clogged up with a bunch of stuff that ain't gonna put no wealth in their pocket. 90% of people do that. There's only 10% of people who actually execute in a meaningful way. No wonder why in this country the wealth gap is so large. Because the top 10% of people control all of the wealth. The bottom 90% are living in a bust economy down here, but that top 10%, they're living in a boom economy. That's why you see these people get on TV, on corporate news networks and say how great everything is, especially in Trump's administration. Don't nobody in Trump's administration come online and say the economy is bad. They all say it's great. It's the best thing since sliced bread. And there's a little bit of truth to that, guys. See, when these people come on TV and tell you how great the economy is, how great things are going, they're not talking about for you. They're talking about for the top 10% of people. That's who they're talking about. They're not concerned with you. Because if they were concerned with you, they wouldn't have passed the big, beautiful bill. But they passed it. And guess who that benefits? Top 1%. Tax breaks, loopholes, deregulation. I'm trying to tell you guys, this might be an opportunity the month of September for some of us to figure out what we need to do in order to get ourselves to financial freedom. I keep telling you, historically, this month right here is a dip month. That's what the history says, not me. Go do your homework. Go do your own independent research. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. But go do the research. I just read the article from CNBC for you guys. I just read this article to you. Right? And in this article, they said historically, September is the worst month on record. Over the last 5 years, in the month of September, the S&P 500 index has declined by 4.2% in that month over the last 5 years. Over the last 10 years, 2%. Here's the good news. It recovers. In my opinion, in my history, it recovers. Again, opportunity knocking on the door. It's just knocking. Question is, are you going to answer the door? And then when you answer the door, what are you going to do? You're going to barbecue, you're going to mildew. You're going to execute or not execute. Remember, 90% of people in this country don't answer the door. They don't answer the door. Even though that opportunity is knocking, man, that opportunity is saying, hey, man, if you want to change something in your life, I'm knocking. Just open the door. 90% of people don't open the door. 10% do. Those are the ones Trump people are talking about when they talk about how great the economy is, because you do understand there are two economies here that we're dealing with. We're dealing with a boom economy and a bust economy. A lot of people say, well, golly, man, when I go to the grocery store, prices are still, they're high. They're higher than they used to be. My electric bill higher than it used to be. My gasoline higher than it used to be. Guess what? That's because you're living in a bust economy. Them people that's living up here in this boom economy, they're not saying any of that. Right? What about 78, 80 million of you guys voted for Trump? So you can't blame him for everything, because he pretty much told you what he was going to do when he was on the campaign trail. So I don't know. But you do have an opportunity right now to change that if you want to. It starts with what? That knock at the door. Somebody knocking at the door. Who's that at the door? Well, it's opportunity at the door. But are you going to open it? Or are you going to ignore it and continue to stay down here in this 90% of people that don't participate or execute? Giving you the update on the stock market, guys. Do with that what you will. Once again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy on YouTube giving you my opinion. Please go out and get yourself some financial help, a professional licensed financial advisor if you're not comfortable making your own financial decisions. But do something. Don't sit around and wait for somebody else to do something for you. Go do it yourself. Building wealth is about you taking the bull by the horns and wrestling it to the ground. You're going to get stuck a few times. That bull going to stick you a few times with them horns. You're going to get stuck a few times now. Letting you know, you're going to get stuck a few times. But if you can barrel through it, there's light at the end of the tunnel, man. Because the only way you protect yourself is you got to have assets that generate income to take care of you when you no longer can take care of yourself. That's the only way you can protect yourself 100%, guys, is by controlling 100% of your time and controlling your own financial destiny. And you got to have assets to do that. It's a long-term process, but it's worth it, in my opinion. Like I said, if you want that NVIDIA stock, get yourself down to that first link in the description box, which is that Moomoo link. Moomoo is going to give you some NVIDIA stock if you open a new Moomoo brokerage account. All the details are in that first link in the description box. Go check it out. Once again, opportunity knocking at the door. See, opportunity's knocking at the door. The question is, are you going to open the door? Wealth Builders Financial Community on Patreon. That's my team. That's my group of wealth builders on Patreon. All we do in that community is help each other build wealth, get to financial freedom. None of us are experts. We don't try to tell you what to do, but we are a group of people that discuss things like this on a daily basis. And we offer up our opinions. Got a couple thousand people on that platform, and all we do, man, is just try to help each other make deposits. Just make deposits into each other's lives and try to help each other get to financial freedom, because we know the only way we protect ourselves is through that financial freedom thing and that passive income thing. So if you want to be a part of that community, second link down in the description box, just click on that link. It'll take you over to Patreon. Opportunity knocking. Opportunity's knocking. Opportunity's knocking. Will you open the door? That's up to you, man. Will you open the door? Once you get over to Patreon, if you sign up and you decide to join us, send me a DM. Introduce yourself. Let me know you're rocking with us. And then let's go to work. Opportunity knocking on the door. Are you going to open that door? Or are you going to just ignore it like 90% of people do? See, 90% of people in this country ignore that knock at the door. That's why they're living down here in this bust economy. That's bust economy. Boom economy. 10% of people in this country live in the boom economy because those people answer the knock at the door. When that opportunity is knocking, they open the door and they ask opportunity, what do you got for me? See, they ask opportunity, hey, opportunity, what do you got for Richard Fain? What can I do to get myself to freedom? And then opportunity tells me. And all I got to do then is just follow the blueprint. Follow the blueprint. Discipline, consistency, patience. Just follow the blueprint. Appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with me this afternoon. I hope you guys hear that knock at your door. And better yet, I hope you answer it. I hope you answer it. And then I hope you execute, because now's the time. Now's the time. Now's the time, guys. No more delaying. No more making excuses. Now's the time to answer that knock at the door, because opportunity, guess what it's going to do? Eventually, it's going to go to the next door. And it ain't coming back. You better open that door when that opportunity knocks, guys. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribe and share the video. Smash the like button. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind. You can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy. Get wealthy. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.